Hey everyone, welcome back. We are going to start removing this pulley, and hopefully it comes off without too much issue. But I'm really not looking forward to it. So hope you enjoyed these little intros that I've been doing lately. I'm just trying to spice things up and make the channel more, I guess, comedic and interesting, and hopefully you guys get a laugh out of some of the stuff that we're doing at the beginning. And it's going to be quite the dirty endeavor getting this front cover off. I've had a few comments as to why we didn't clean the block off or clean the tractor off prior to working on it, but quite frankly, one, I didn't have time. Two, basically it got too cold to do it. I can't use a hose if it's snowing, I don't have a pressure washer, and that's just the way it happened. So the plan is to clean everything up once it's all disassembled, and then really look it over well and make a good assessment from there. But this whole area here, I'm assuming there's big issues. So let's go ahead and get started. I got a cutoff wheel already on my angle grinder, so the plan is, we'll probably come at it from this angle and start cutting the welds, roll it over, cut more welds. It's welded in 3 spots on this crankshaft pulley, and they're not good welds, so I'm assuming there's probably still a nut behind here. And this, I don't even know if this is the factory pulley. Well, there's one notch for timing. But as far as I'm aware, there's supposed to be 3 notches. This one's only got 1. So maybe the Super M's and up only have the 1 notch because they came with the distributor. I'm not sure. I haven't done any reading on these, so I'm just playing it by ear. So let's get the cutoff wheel and the angle grinder plugged in, and we'll start going to town. Ooh, I gotta get safety glasses too. Always wear safety glasses. Well, let's give it a couple whacks. Should be plenty good. Well, nothing yet. Well, folks, there you have it. And just as I suspected, it was welded over the front of the crankshaft nut. I'm not even sure what this is off of. Oh, look at that. There's a John Deere stamp right there. So this was a John Deere pulley that somebody had pressed on to the front of the crankshaft. And yeah, then they welded it to the pulley. I guess that's one way to do it. But we got it off, so now we got to work on getting this nut off. And I think that will be a very challenging part as well, because this thing has a lot of rust on it. But if worse comes to worse, we can heat the nut. I've got my torch outside. I can go grab that. We can heat the nut. And then the rest should come off fairly easily. Should. So, but this is the big problem, was getting this off. Okay, folks, we've got the 3-jaw puller set up on the crankshaft pulley. Got the nut off. I was looking at it and somebody had already conveniently used a large chisel and a hammer on it, so I figured I'd take advantage of it instead of dragging out my torch set and a couple whacks, and it just loosened right up, and then I can clean this up and make it look a lot more kosher on the bench grinder. So save some time there. Well, that came off easily, thankfully. It's not too badly worn, so that's good. Crankshaft pulley is off. Now we can get the timing cover off and really have a look-see at these these mess of gears probably that are in here. I did rotate it over a few times to see if we were missing any teeth on the cam gear, and we're not, that I could tell, but there's still some major issues going on in here. So I'll go ahead and pull the bolts out. There's a couple here, a few across the top, a couple on the bottom, and then a couple on the bottom over here that's underneath all this stuff. I'll call it stuff. So, all right. Okay, we got all the bolts out for the timing cover. I haven't pulled it off yet because I wanted to reveal to you guys exactly how I see it. So, here we go. Well, no broken gears, that's good. but that is probably also not good. This is something that I've never seen before. They have a pin that is drilled through the camshaft nut, through the camshaft, and then out the other side of the cam. And that pin is mighty loose. I don't think that the cam should be that loose, or the cam gear. Get rid of this oil slinger here. Idler gear feels pretty good. No broken teeth on the cam gear, so that's good. But let's see if we can get the camshaft out. Pull this idler pulley off, pull the bolts out for the cam, and then we'll go from there. Pretty much from that point, all that's left is this front adapter plate or front engine plate, and then pull the main bearings and pull the crankshaft out. So we'll get the cam out, pull the idler pulley, pull the idler pulley, get the cam out, and then we'll flip it, and we'll do the, actually we'll probably flip it before we pull the cam out. So maybe the crank should come out first before the cam. Okay, let's get it done. Alright, I just want to show you guys one thing I found here. Remove the bolts for the cam. I got the idler off, and I went to flip it over, and then I was going to pull the crankshaft out, but look what I found here. I'm going to hold the camshaft in place. The camshaft is stationary, but the gear is rotating. Okay, that is a lot of play. I mean, you're talking almost a quarter turn. So there's reason number one why it wouldn't run right. The live hydraulic pump, the gear being loose on there, there's reason number two. So I think it's safe to say either I did drive the roll pin out of this nut and camshaft, and this camshaft nut is just loose. So as far as I know, that's not supposed to be like that either. But let me work on getting the rear main seal off, and then the main bearing caps, and we'll pull the crankshaft out. Well, I can pretty well tell you that the cam bearings are probably shot. Right here, see these chunks of metal flake on the tip of my finger? That is probably a combination, oh yeah, it's coming right off. It's a combination of the cam bearings and probably some of the tappet, the cam follower material. So let's go ahead and get this the rest of the way out. There were some very rough spots even while turning it. The cam luckily doesn't have any scoring, but I don't know how the lobes look yet. At least on these major journals so far. Now the cam might be salvageable, but that all depends on this. That's not good. One thing about camshafts is you never want to lay them down flat. Always stand them up on end. Oh boy. We were rubbing something fierce behind there. I don't know what we were rubbing on, but that cam gear has a big wear pattern in it. And I realized that it's all coming back to me now. See, cue the music. We have to pull this front plate before we can pull the crankshaft out. I've already removed the main bearings, or the main bearing caps, but we have to take this front plate off in order to remove the crankshaft because it goes around the crank here. So let me get my punch. We'll bend down these fold over locks and pull the front plate, and then we can lift the camshaft out, and then we're done. Then it's pretty much all stripped down. So alright, we got that front plate off. Again, it's just held in with 4 bolts with fold over locks. So we'll go ahead and, yeah, I don't know. Oof, this one's bad. This middle main has got a huge ridge in the middle, which is typical. That's where the oil holes are. So let's lift it out. Yeah, these mains are not in very good shape. The top side has a lot of material left on them, but the bottoms are wore clear down to the copper or brass. I don't know what the backing is on them. Wow. These are pretty rough. I can't read the number on them quite, but I doubt they're oversized. Tough to say. But anyway, let's go ahead and I'm going to put each bearing by its respective journal. So that way they're all together in one place. And that's it. The block is stripped except for some oil passage plugs and the cam bearings and the sleeves. Ooh, that middle cam bearing is just toast. There's a huge groove wore into it. Wow. One whole side of it, it looks like it's burnt. One whole side, the outer side of the bearing, there's a huge score in it, and it's very discolored from what I can see. So, not good. but I guess that's why we're in this, right? You guys remember that one time when I said that camshaft might be savable? Nah, it's not even close. Come take a walk with me. So I figured after I cleaned all the tools up and swept up all the dirt that was on the floor, figured I'd pull the gear off, and for starters, the washer that was behind the cam gear nut was nearly worn through completely. You can see there's different rings of wear. Okay, that's a bad sign, number one. That means the nut's been turning for a long time. So that's number one. Number two, the cam gear fell right off, which isn't too bad, but you should be able to pull it off with a puller, hence the dimple in the front. So then the gear fell off the cam and a bunch of pieces came with it. Suspect number one is this here key. You see how it's all beat up? Should be nice and square. This edge is all beat up. This here is all galled up and beaten in. That's suspect number two. Suspect number three, inside the cam gear, you guys won't be able to see it, but it's almost as if one side of the keyway in the gear was worn so much now that it's at a chamfer. So it's at almost a 45-degree angle instead of a straight 90-degree cut. That's suspect number three. And then, oh wait, it gets better. It gets better. Suspect number four. You guys see all that carnage? This is supposed to be a keyway. Now it's just a hole. So, this camshaft is junk. Straight junk. Which is not, it's kind of disappointing. I mean, the lobes don't look terrible. This middle journal or bearing has some serious discoloration, and that's probably right around, oh yeah, there's some definite scoring there. That's right around in the same area on the bearing shell itself that we have issue with galling. The rear doesn't look too bad either. But regardless, that cam is junk. That gear is junk. This key is junk. This washer is junk. And, well, I'm pretty sure, I don't know for certain, but I don't recall on either the H or the M there being a pin that keeps the nut in place. Maybe that's something they updated with because they have problems with that before, especially with the live hydraulic pump and everything. But either way, that's junk. Crankshaft definitely needs to be turned. The bearings, I'll show you here. Oh. See all that? Oh. All that brass showing through? That means there's no lining left on them bearing caps, or these bearing inserts. Not good. Rod bearings look okay. I mean, I haven't looked at them real close, but they look okay. So she's rough, boys. I don't know what else to tell you. Given the state of all of these components, and we still haven't even torn the gear off the hydraulic pump yet, but I would be willing to bet that the gear, the key, and possibly the shaft are all bad. So, not good. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching and wrenching with me. And why don't you put down in the comments what you guys think of these new little intros that I'm putting together for this, you know, these videos, how I kind of come in with a little bit of dramatic music and whatnot. But anyway, you guys take care, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. I almost forgot. Let's figure out what this is off of. I'll read you guys the part number. It's a John Deere part. And I'll send you on a treasure hunt. If you can figure out what this is off of, put it down in the comment section below. It'll be a fun little deal. Alright, part number H10650H. Again, it's a John Deere part. I'm guessing it's probably off of, I don't know, John Deere H. No, it wouldn't be off an H. Maybe a John Deere M. Something like that. But anyhow, it'll be a fun little project for you while I break the bad news to Connor, I guess. But you guys take care. See you later.